Welcome to Conversations here on NTA. My name is Nike. I'll be helping sail the boat today. We have a really important topic. If you have friends and family, you might want to call them up and say, you know what, you need to listen to Conversations today because this affects you and me. I'll leave everyone in the house to introduce themselves.
Oh, again, my name is Chukuma. Liz is always intimidating me. So today, Chukuma is Chukuma. Thank you, Nikki, for having me around.
All right.
Anyway, the good thing is everybody knows I'm as innocent as a child because that's really what I am. But he already told you my name, and he's always trying to wear my shoes. No problem. My name is Elizabeth Abai, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. So.
My name is Dr. Nasiruladan Muhammad Argungu, Director General, National Director of Employment, NDE.
Now, that's exactly what we're talking about today in the conversation room, unemployment in Nigeria. We all have someone out there that needs a job, is looking for a job, is looking for some form of stream of income to help better themselves and their family. We'll take a quick break and then we'll start talking about unemployment in Nigeria right after that. This is Conversations. Stay with us.
My name is Ademola Omaomi. I'm a graduate waiting to serve, and while I wait, I have decided to make my time useful by selling coconut oil. I make coconut oil for sale. I make body creams and soap. I do makeup. I make hair. I started making hair since when I was a child. Like, I never learned how to make it. It's just a gift. So while in the university, obviously there are times when you will not have money and all that. So basically I used making hair to make money while I was in the university. And right now I make wigs. I make hair too occasionally. Then I've always been a fan of looking good and making up and playing with colors on my face. So I picked that interest and started downloading videos from YouTube and Instagram. Then in school, I always made my friends and my roommates up till I actually could do it well. Then the coconut oil, I think the desire to start making coconut oil started after I graduated, and I sat home for like 2 months, not doing anything, and I was getting depressed, just waking up in the morning and doing nothing and then sleeping. I wasn't making money. I wasn't getting pocket money anymore because obviously I'm no longer a student. So I started learning how to make coconut oil, which was actually quite easy. Then from there, I started seeing people make cream, and I used to have serious skin issues. Like, I had large pimples, and whatever I used never worked. So I started researching, going on YouTube, Google, and all that. And I'm on Instagram, and I see people looking fresh and everything on Instagram, and I was like, why can't I look this way? So that's why I picked the interest. So when I made my first batch of coconut oil, cream, and soap, I used them, and my family members tested them because I wouldn't want to make something and then take it out and people will be giving me bad reports and all. I bought my first batch of coconuts, 3,000 naira. And after I made and sold them, I made 9,000 naira from just the 3,000 naira coconut. And after that, I bought the next batch I bought half bag of coconuts, and the sales improved. If you want to expand your business, if you want it to be something you would be proud of, I don't think you should start spending your profits immediately. I think you should pour it back to the business, and you keep doing that until it becomes very large and you know, okay, even if I take this amount of money from my business, I won't suffer loss. We are all young and we all want to have fun, party, club, hang out with friends and all. But all these things are not free. You actually need money for them. And I don't think it will make a lot of sense for you to walk up to your parents and say, Daddy, give me 5,000 naira. I want to go to a party and I need to pay my gate fee. Or Mommy, give me this amount of money. I want to do this. So you actually have to work to enjoy your life, and this is actually the best time to do everything you want to do because you're energetic, you're free, you can do everything you want to do, and everybody wants to look good, everybody wants to appear like a big girl, or a big boy. So if you actually want to do that, you need cash, and the money is not going to just walk up to you. So I think it's better to learn something for the meantime before you get a white-collar job. And even if you have a white-collar job, it's actually always good to have something at the side. You need multiple streams of income to live the type of life you want to live.
Today on Conversations, we're talking about unemployment in Nigeria. And like I said, it affects all of us. I have quite a number of people in my household looking for work, looking for something to do. And it takes a toll on my own funds, my salary, because I have to give them something. But, you know, you can only do that for so long. Your number one prayer is that, God, let him get his own job. Let him get her own, let her get her own job. It's so that, you know, I don't have as much pressure on myself. So I don't know what your thoughts are on the issue, because it's something that really it affects all of us.
Well, the good thing is that we have a DJ in the house. First, I must applaud the organizers of this program. But secondly, creating job or having people around us get employed does not solve the problem of unemployment. I think it has to start from us, the individuals around us, from the university, because I was once unemployed and I made myself employable. I'm making myself employable, I'm employed.
Okay.
And today in my employed job, I always give in my best and also update myself to remain relevant. Most employees are not making themselves relevant. Most employees, most graduates today are not allowing themselves to become employable. Most of them are people who want to have someone keep them and pay them money and do their job. I happen to also be an employer of labor. I have people who work for me, and I'm speaking from experience. People have refused to make themselves employable. It was as a result of my experience in the university. I had a program called the Student Entrepreneur, which I might also discuss with Olga later, on how to get yourself out. Because one, the university system teaches us something, how to prepare our CVs. And most times you see people come out from the university, the number of jobs for the CVs are not enough for the number of graduates you have. Now, when you have a skill within you that you refuse to apply because you went through the university, you've made yourself redundant first. Now, what skill do you have in you that would make someone around you need your services? Because employment is not about 8 to 5. When you employ a cook, you have employed it even if for 1 hour. When you employ a cameraman, even if for 1 hour, employment is, first of all, what is employment? Anything you could do that could give you legitimate income. That is it. We've found ourselves in a society where it has to be, you must not tie, you must dress well, you have to go to work at 8 and close by 5. That's not it.
Chukwuma, you talked about CV. Sorry I have to cut in, but I didn't want to let it go before I forget. You know, the CV you talked about, the schools teaching us how to prepare CV, I don't even think that it's well done. I have a friend who was opening an IT establishment and called for, she was just looking for like 6 people to work for her, who were computer literate. And by the time she went online to announce it, we got more than 400 CVs.
Definitely.
And she asked me to help her, check those CVs and see the ones, that are viable. She can't possibly do all that alone. And she wanted to be, as objective as possible in selecting people. I read through a lot of them. At the point I told her, you're going to have to pay me for doing this because I'm doing something that it's not just overwhelming, embarrassing for me. Somebody who is writing CV and you ask him, what's your email address? And he's writing meet sexyyeti@yahoo.com. How do you expect me to take you serious? Your contact address, you're giving me a hotel. Maybe because somebody you know works there. How do you expect me to take you serious? You know, what do you like doing?
Hobbies.
For hobbies. I don't want to say this on air really, but it's really embarrassing. You know, somebody actually wrote bedmatics. What does that mean?
Someone wrote that?
Yes. You know, another person said making babies. It's her hobby.
We'll have to take
So
that.
how do I begin to employ such a person? Your hobby should have influence on the job you're looking for.
Wow.
Frankly,
So the CVs, we don't even write them well in the first place. So you can
That's,
continue. I had to take care of your mouth.
You've just knocked the wind out of me. I wasn't expecting some of them.
you have to first prepare yourself. And when you get employed, most people, once they get employed, they lose it there. They refuse to improve on their skills. And tomorrow you hear another person getting promoted to come to do their job or employing someone outside to do their job, and you see them murmuring. Now, nobody has ever done self-appraisal. I do self-appraisal all the time.
Okay.
In my organization, I always call, if I have new employees to send to my department, I always send my HR to do an appraisal for me by asking the people, how is your relationship with your new boss? By so doing, I want to get a feedback to see if my leadership style is working. Most people don't want to do this. And there was a time I had a conflict in my place of work among the people who were working with me, because most of them are my seniors. What I did was, because within the team, I had someone who was very close with me, so I had to ask him to go within those other ones who were my seniors to find out actually what I could do well so that we could all pally.
Yes.
And today, most of them are my friends, because I had to find out what to do to get these people on my path.
On your side.
You understand? Because you don't have to, you can't come in a workplace and become autocratic because you're the boss, you're the leader. No, it has to be a hand, right, left hand, right hand, watch left hand, watch right hand. But unemployment, if you ask me today, is not a government problem.
Now let's see what DJ has to say on that. You know, somebody once told me, sir, it's good you're sitting with us, that there are jobs in Nigeria.
I believe that.
You know, it's just that people refuse to take them. What's your take on that?
Well, just to add up from what Chukwuma started already, you see, when you talk of unemployment, there are people that are ready to work. There are those that are available to work, and there are those that are not ready to work completely.
Three categories.
Yeah, we have to look at it. And even those that are working, but their take-home is not good enough to take care of their problems, to take care of their family, we still consider them not just underemployed, but as unemployed.
Okay.
Unemployed?
If you look at it this way, one of the cardinal features of this government is youth employment. And in NDE, principally our job is to create jobs, provide employment through entrepreneurial skills development. And we have been telling them the white-collar job is not there. Use your head, use your hands, and you earn a lot. And we have a lot of programs by the government. For example, there is a program called YESO, Youth Employment Social Support Operations. This thing started since March 2012. It's a collaboration between World Bank and Nigerian government through Ministry of Finance. Initially, what was given is $300 million, but later they added another $100 million. I'm talking of from 2012, making $400 million. What is given to NDE is what they call Skill for Jobs. And what is involved is about $40 million. In collaboration with the World Bank, you know, they have FOCU unit from Ministry of Finance, Federal Operation Coordinating Unit, that is FOCU, and they have State Operation Coordination Unit. All they need to do, or what we are doing, we go deep into the villages, into the rural areas, mop out young men and women that are vulnerable. Give them some form of training. On monthly basis, they are being paid $7,500 as stipends.
Okay.
We are in 8 states already. But I tell you, by the time we mop out, maybe 2,000 per state, by the time World Bank send their consultants to go on a spot assessment, you'll be shocked. Sometimes out of the 2,000 that was given to us, maybe only 400 or 500.
People.
Yeah, and the criteria is so low, just 9 years. That is from your primary up to secondary. And when we realize that qualification is a problem, we make it open because we have theoretical and practical aspect of it.
Okay.
If you fail the theory, you may be lucky to pass
The
the practicals. But I'm telling you, they are kept in a place, given 3 square meal with boarding facilities. But I'm telling you, a lot of them will tell you that, look, we are not interested in any training. Just give us the money. Just give us the money. So there are a lot of things that are put in place. You know, I'm not saying that Nigerian youth are lazy, but a lot of them are only interested in white-collar job, which is not there. Even in NDE, we have a program called GAP, Graduate Attachment Program. We used to tell them that, look, the white-collar job is not there. Tell us what you want to do. We'll attach you to any institution. All we want you to do, go there, learn something, use your brain and your hands, and you'll see that that's where the money is. And on a monthly basis, we're paying them 15,000 naira each.
For going to learn the trade.
Just to learn the trade. And by the time they finish, we'll give them starter packs or working tools. Not even that, even those that are lazy, that are not ready to work. We know within the local government areas there are a lot of young men and women that are deficient as far as issue of NECO, SSCE, WAEC, even JAM is concerned, that cannot make up. So we mop out some graduates within the community. Look, train your brothers and sisters so that they can make up, and we pay them 10,000 naira on a monthly basis, apart from other programs we are running. But I tell you, people are only interested in getting the money. We have a collaboration with CBN, whereby loans will be given to some young men and women. I'm telling you, it's 5,000 per state. As I'm talking to you, most of the states, they have even overshoot the 5,000 target because people believe they are going to be given money and it's like free money. But when you said, come in, please come. We're going to train you. After your training, we're giving you starter packs. You know, that issue is there.
To go through the training.
That's it. And to go through the training, all we need to do, we don't move anybody. We are using artisans, master crafters as much as possible. Whatever you want to learn, being it GSM repairs, interlock, blocks molding, furniture work, and auto electrician, auto mechanic.
Plumbing?
Within your locality, we'll look for somebody that is good in that. We attach you to him.
Very close to where you are, so you don't even need to spend extra.
Transportation.
Yeah, we give you logbook, ID card, attendant register. And at the end of every month, we'll give you stipends. The only thing is that you must attend your place of learning at least 20 times in a month to qualify you. And this money is coming directly from GIPMIS, government account. You'll just see the alert in your account. But if you look at the level of participation, it's like people are just interested in just give us the
Maybe they
money.
don't really know much about this. I mean, I'm just hearing this for the first time. I want to learn something. By the way, I want to learn a lot of things. When I finish, I have to register, learn probably how to do hair and cakes and all that, and get my 15,000 naira pay at the end of the month. I think it's coming on a platter of gold. Maybe they really don't know much about it, and now you're saying it, youths will be willing to, partake of this. But you mentioned something about the white-collar job not being there. I don't know. Somehow, I seem not to agree completely, even though I believe in entrepreneurship. Because the jobs have always been there. There's something I always do. Every year, I check the number of people who are retiring in different establishments. And sometimes the same establishment don't get to employ for another 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yes.
Meanwhile, on a yearly basis, 10 people, 20 are retiring. So that means there are vacancies. But I think that a lot of times from the private sector that I've actually spoken with, they are scared of employing people because lots of interviews, you find out that somebody who read English will not tell you what you want to hear.
But I read English.
You did?
Oh, wow.
Somebody will tell you that he studied English. And you come in and, okay, somebody told me she studied geography. And I said, what is GMT? She didn't know what GMT meant. I thought it was the cheapest thing you should be able
of course.
to do. I didn't do it, but I know what it means.
Yes.
So you study English. So you walk into my office as a core member. And then I ask you, where have you been? You say, sorry, ma, I was
coming.
You know?
If you look at it, look at the total number of graduates that graduates every year, those that pass through NYSC, they run into hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm telling you, most of this replacement, let me tell you one secret. Sometimes to accommodate people, if somebody retired as a director, that is what you call scale down, because his salary can create a job of about 5, grade level 8, 9, or even 8. Despite that, it is not easy, because the number of universities we have, the number of colleges of education, the number of polytechnics we have, and the total number of young men and women that graduated from them is enormous. Government alone cannot do it. And I'm telling you, the private sector, even on their own part, is not that easy.
At all.
Because even payment of salaries, and there are problems here, left, right, and center. And that's the reason why, in our own case, we concentrate more on agricultural sector, because that's where you can create jobs as much as possible because of the value chain and ICT. These are areas whereby you can create as much jobs as possible. If there is the will.
There's always a way.
Yes.
I agree with what the DJ had said. You see, most advanced countries, all the government does is give them a system, a policy, or not a policy that would make the entrepreneurship in the country thrive. Now, where you have entrepreneurship and where people are allowed to come in, participate, and do, there are other things you could see that may be lacking. Now, we've talked about whether there is white-collar job or not. Have we also asked ourselves about we did mention sometime about the lifestyle of people who want to do this work?
Yeah.
The people you want to employ, how are they willing to start small? Liz, I always share this story because it happened to me.
Okay.
2008, during the banking wahala, I was working as a regional manager in a particular financial institution, and it was swallowed up by the wahala. And I didn't have a job. And we just had a new baby. The baby doesn't know there is no money. And we have to eat. And the stock market crashed, and I lost a lot. And what I did was, I spoke to a couple of friends of mine because there was no job. One of my friends, who was a manager in another bank, told me he had a proposal, business proposal, with one bakery in Enugu then. I was living in Owerri. And he thought I should handle it. And what was it? The bread company they were producing in Enugu, but they were not having presence in Imo, Owerri.
Okay.
So all I did was, what do I do to get money? So I converted that opportunity to business. The first thing I did was, how much was I earning, and how many loaves of bread would I sell to earn what I used to earn before? Because I was working for people. I was going to work for myself. So I did my analysis. The first thing I did was, I removed my cap as a regional manager. Pride is what deprives a whole lot of people.
I agree with you.
I removed my cap as a regional manager.
And become Jumoke.
And I wore bread uniform.
He became Jumoke.
The first thing I tell you when I meet you is, I'm sure my friends are watching, and I'm sure they will attest to this. The first thing I tell you is, my name is Chooks, I sell bread. I moved out, my wife supported, we'll load our cars with the bread, and we'll stand on the streets to sell this bread.
Wow.
And the most important thing was I had my target. I knew that in where I was working, I was doing marketing. So I brought my marketing skills into this personal business. I drew my charts. I knew places to go. Now, I had some people, because I defined it that in every place where there is a crowd, people must eat bread. So the crowded areas became my locations. And I tell you, within 3 months, I was able to buy a bus because I was earning like 270. I was making 270, 300,000 from bread sales at the end of the month. And I was able to save some money to buy a bus. I employed a driver and a sales girl who were going out now to do the bread sale while I was in the house doing the strategy. Okay. So all I needed to do was anywhere they have the union, I'll go to the union and I'll speak to the union. And because my salespeople can't go to the union. But when the union see me, I'll come with my car. They'll listen to me. I speak good English. So I'll talk like Oga and they will allow me register. Okay. So we were present at every place they were selling bread in Imo State. Wow. And our sales were improving. Now, most of my mates who lost their job could not get back to this.
Because of pride.
Because pride denies us a whole lot of things. People see people today, they don't know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
You understand?
What you're saying, I ran into a particular young boy, who's doing, I think they call them boats now. He used to be taxified.
Yes.
He carried me and it was close to Christmas time. So I asked him, I like to chat with my, cab drivers. So I asked, he said, he's from the East. I said, I hope you're going home for Christmas. He said, yeah, that this year he's going to go. I said that he's seriously looking forward to it. I said, why? He said, because he hadn't gone home for 6 years.
6 years.
I said, why have you not gone home for 6 years? You haven't seen your mother? He said, no, that he came here to do NYSC, finished, he was doing a job and blah, blah, he couldn't continue. He started looking for a new job, it wasn't working. But only this year, he was able to get somebody who gave him a car, and he started doing taxi. And then from that, he was able to buy his own taxi. I said, I hope you didn't steal the person's money. He said, no, that if he did, he has 2 cars now, and the guy is giving him returns. Probably if he did that to some other person, they would have been giving him the same treatment too. But that he's comfortable now, that he has actually been sending money home for them to build house since October. He doesn't know how far he's gone, so he wants to go home this Christmas to go check it out. I said, but with or without money, you would have actually gone home to see your mom. It's not that easy for a mother not to see a child for that length of time.
Yes.
He said, no, I was a big boy in school. I had a lot of money, I had a car, and blah, blah. Then my mates graduated, some of them are doing well in a way. Then me, I'll come in now begging them for money. It would have been so embarrassing. So it's better as I'm going as a bigger boy.
Yeah.
2 lessons there. He had pride. So because of that, he didn't want to see his family because he didn't have money. That I didn't like. But then, at a point when he realized that the pride,
it turned into positive use.
Wasn't working, he went back to,
it turned into positive
something.
Use.
Driving for somebody, paying, then got money. Then I picked another thing, honesty. When you're serving people and you're honest, the returns are enormous.
Yeah.
Hard work and consistency, you cannot beat it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a program I do. I call it the Hustle Radio Show.
Okay.
I try as much as possible to give people the principles of a hustler. And those are principles I've practiced in my life.
Yeah.
I've been a hustler all my life. Now, people ask me questions. One of the days, one of the boys I was mentoring asked me, he said, I thought your dad was a very rich man. I said, for where? While I was in school, because I'm not telling you what I've not practiced. While I was in the university, if you see me wear any clothes, and you say, choose your clothes, is fine. The next thing I'll tell you, I make them all, and I mean they sell them. You want them? My tailor in Aba used to come to Unical, measure people at my invitation and my price. He will give me his price, I'll sell to my people. When I left school, I came to Abuja in 2003. I was in Abuja doing, most of my friends in Abuja that knew me, they knew me as Choose Tailor. In fact, most of them till tomorrow are still angry with me because they were asking, how did you leave tailoring to go to paid employment? Because I was doing it very well. I didn't know how to sew, but I learned how to measure. And to the point that I could look at you and I will give you your measurement without even placing a tape on you. And I used it to, my first rent in Abuja was paid from there. And I didn't mind, I left everything about graduate because I needed to have something in place.
Yes, of course.
And those principles I give out every period I have time to speak with people.
Yeah.
The most people I've spoken to have pride. dishonesty. Get rich quick syndrome is so much competition. The hype, like.
It's funny you should mention that, especially when you talk about the youths and get rich quick. They're at home, they're watching the TVs, they see the artists who are using large amounts of money to get big things, and they have these programs where they get rich quick. For example, the TV program that we all saw a couple of months ago, where all the young people, even my brother, went the night before, the Big Brother, you know, just because they want to get rich quick. Other people are doing it. Why not me? You know, so why do I need to struggle like my parents struggled? Why do I need to struggle like my big sister, my big brother struggled? I can do it faster, quicker, and even get much more than they can. So that's some of the challenges. I have a question for DG. You mentioned some of these schemes and projects that the NDA is currently undergoing, but how many of the youths out there are aware? I don't know if the awareness is enough. I'm hearing some of these things for the first time, just like Lizzie said. I haven't heard of them before.
I tell you one thing. Before I go to that, Mr. Chooks, as you have earlier said, pride. I receive a lot of applications. But somebody applying for a job, white-collar job, he will specifically tell you that, look, I'm interested in CBN, NNPC, NESREL, DPR,
all the high
you know, this printing and minting. Say, Pencom. Yeah, I told you don't have Amcon and the rest of them. I told you don't. Say, no, even if I want to work, at least I need to work in a place that I'm comfortable, and at least I know once in a year I will travel outside for a seminar or a program. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then back to the question you asked. You see, NDE, we have 6 zonal offices in all the geopolitical zones.
Okay, sir.
We have 37 state offices, including FCT.
Okay.
Out of the 774 local governments, we have DEX offices in 691 of them. We have, before it was 74, but now it is 101 skills training centers. We have 2 giant agric parks. Even some of us that are old enough in the late 80s and early 90s, the issue of mobile workshop school on wheels, initially none of them is working, but as I'm talking to you now, we have 26 of them on ground that are working. You see, the issue is this. I've been saying it several times. Before, honestly, if not because of God's intervention, NDE could have ended just like other parastatals like DPRI and the rest of them, because things are being bastardized, and that's the reason why people lost interest. But when we came in, within 2 years, we were able to do a lot. I tell you one thing, 2014, 2015, the same amount of money that is given for training young men and women, payment of their stipends, and also payment of the trainees and trainers stipends. Okay. The same amount that is being given to NDE since 2004, the same amount of money on monthly basis. When this government came, because of the importance of that money, it is not even coming through IPPIs. It is coming directly from pygmies, GIPMIs.
Okay.
Once the salary drops, it drops. But you can imagine from 2014, 2015, only about 4,082 young men and women were trained. But when we came in, within 2 years, we were able to train about 861,254. You can see the margin. And out of which, because I believe in one thing, if you train somebody on a thread, you do not give him startup packs or working tools, you have wasted your time and wasted his time, because he will go back to the labor market.
Okay.
And that's the reason why this year, despite the fact that we have to train, but our emphasis is going to be on resettlement. We have resettled tens of thousands of people as far as cosmetology is concerned, because the training period is short. It's just adding 1 or 2, 3 chemicals to come up with a product.
Okay.
So the training period is short. The resettlement pack is less. The amount of money is less.
Sorry, sir, but what do you mean by resettlement?
Startup packs.
Okay.
Each individual, the startup pack we give them, if they can utilize it judiciously, they can produce a product worth 40,000 naira. In addition to that, we give them 5,000 in case of anything.
Okay.
So that is as far as we have gone on cosmetology.
Now,
but
so
there are other trades.
What concerns me, in even though we've improved a whole lot, is monitoring and feedback. When you do this training and give starter packs, what do you do something extra to ensure that after 6 months, after 1 year, that they are producing and growing? And if you're not growing, what's the challenge? Do you follow up on them?
You see, that's why we have inspectorate division in NDE.
Okay.
And in order to monitor everything, we're in collaboration with NEMA and National Commission for the Refugees. Whatever they produce, we buy from them, and we sell to these commissions.
Oh, okay.
Two things. We're avoiding the market being highly saturated, because if you're producing and there is no market for you, you'll become discouraged. So once they produce, we buy from them. And at the same time, that is helping us to monitor, because state by state, we know those that we train.
Of course.
We know those that we resettle. Okay. So if we look through the list and we have not seen your name, we'll definitely ask through our stake coordinator, what is happening to you? We have not seen any of your products. What happened to the packs we give you? So we are using one stone to kill two birds.
Okay.
We buy from them, and at the same time, it's also helping us to monitor them in terms of production.
Okay.
So we monitor what is happening.
We'll take a quick break. We're talking about unemployment in Nigeria. The DG of NDE is here answering a whole lot of questions from Chukwuma, Lizzie, and myself. This is Conversations, and we'll be right back after this.
Lina Agbai is a graduate of sociology from the University of Abuja. Creativity has always been her passion. She took interest in baking as a child when she visited her grandmother, who was a big-time baker. During her university days, that interest blossomed far from just baking. She began to assist friends in organizing parties.
I'm a baker right from when I was a kid. My grandmom used to bake. So she was very well known back then, and I didn't really have so much interest, but I think, when people do, as a young child, she was always having cakes, especially when we go to visit her. She has a lot of wedding cakes, and me, I was especially spoiling her jobs. I would come when she finishes baking, I'll scatter it and all of those things. Gradually, I found out that I had interest in it. And I said, okay, this should be a career, I can take this up. And from there, I went to YouTube, then I'll call a few people I know. Oh, how can I do this? How can I make buttercream? How can I do this? On the phone, they started teaching me. A few people I knew, go to YouTube, social media. That's the essence of social media, not just to play around, but it teaches you. We learn a lot on social media. You see pictures, inspirations, everything. So I took it up to me. Then at a point, we all need professional experience. At a point, I said, okay, I need to learn this professionally. I went to a baker. I've had well over 3 trainings, and I still do several online trainings as well. And I learned the craft, and I continued.
Lina constantly acquired different skills and crafts during her holidays. Today, she is an innovator and an entrepreneur who runs 3 businesses that are grooming and empowering young people.
For events, basically, would I say I've always been a busybody, and when you're a busybody trying to organize things, I like to see people happy, put smiles on their face. Oh, you have this, oh, let me help you. I used to do that with my friends back in university. We help organize a surprise party, all of those things.
The grass is greener on the other side. That's what I thought before I took the ride. I burned my bridges so I'd never look back. But if I had known the life I was searching for,
all of those things, talk to people. So I'm like, okay, yes, I can do this. At least cake and events, they go together. So I can also do this as a craft. And I went to an event school, and I trained for a certain period of time, and I came out, and well, here I am.
Though she has a degree in sociology, but not waiting for a white-collar job, as she is gainfully employed and providing employment for others.
That's the thing about entrepreneurship. There's always, it creates job, it creates opportunity. Entrepreneurship, most of the businesses is not a one-man business. You have to involve other people. And in involving other people, you create employment for them. I'll give you instances in the 3 businesses I run. As a cake person, I have people that they come, okay, let's assume I have 3 staff. One person does the baking. One person does buttercream decoration. The other person does fondant decoration. They are there, I pay them monthly. When I have bigger jobs, I involve other people and call. There's even someone that does the dishes and everything. So I have created employment for them. I pay them monthly and they have families. So they have their source of livelihood from this business. So to every young person, never stop striving. Always remember that there's dignity in labor.
Your weakness, baby. Lie to me, if the truth will break my heart too. Sing for me, even though your voice did
It's Conversations here on NTA. We're talking about unemployment in Nigeria, and we're so lucky to have the DG of NDE here in the house with us. Now, Lizzie, you made a very important contribution while we're off air about vacation jobs and how, you know, you've always insisted that your children teach at some point.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to use that on the twins at some point.
Yeah, you should, really. It works for me, and it can actually work for, because I believe that children, it was voluntary. They were not being paid. But I also found out something. A lot of the places where they worked, you know, by the time they are done, maybe due to what they were able to put in, they were given some package to go back with.
Okay.
I met, for one, when you leave secondary school, you must teach. But I know that they cannot go to teach in the university or whatever. So they put them in the kindergarten. They used to have this thing they call window auntie, those that help them do one thing or the other. You start from there, the classmate, and then you begin to teach 1 or 2 things. It's learning the discipline of, you know, a working environment, you know, as much as keeping them busy. Then while they are in secondary school, for me, every long vac, you go on a holiday for a while, but we'll break it into 2. When you come back, you're going to work somewhere, either in a salon as a hairdresser, or in a catering service place, or in a tailoring place, whatever. It could just be a friend. Go and help out, hem the stitches, you know, do one thing or the other, and learn. By the time they get done with secondary school, they're already showing interest in something. So as much as they are reading one professional course or the other, first one is out, but she owns her own business. Even before she left the university, she already had her business registered. As of today, she even employs people, you know, to work for her, you know. And the other ones subsequently all have one skill or the other. They work for people free of charge, you know. But our culture here, we believe that holidays are meant for your kids to stay indoors, do family bonding. But because I know you're not going to pay that child, I also need to have them around. So if it's a 8 to 4 job, I'll beg you to let her go by 2, because she's probably going to come home to cook for me or do one thing or the other. They have to learn to be a woman in the house while also acquire that work skills. And then, of course, Saturdays and Sundays, if it's where they work, like, let me just give thumbs up to Pastor Victor. You know, Pastor Victor Wellina, you know, did a lot of Atachi time without number, you know. I had to plead with him, but when she finished the first time, he was now asking me, when is she on holiday again to come? And then there was not supposed to be payments, but at the point he started paying her 25,000. So I must say thank you for that. And I think every parent should actually encourage their children. Well, by the time they leave, even if they don't work with it, if your child knows how to make hair, you can imagine she can actually begin to make her children's hair. She doesn't need to go to the salon. With all these ones, they are selling people's hair in the salon anyway. If she can sew a bit of things. I used to sew a lot of my children's clothes, but now I'm not sure I can do it.
Well, I did in one of my seminars in one of the universities. I had interaction when I was doing my student entrepreneur. I took it to one of the universities in the Southeast, and I had an opportunity for the undergraduates to speak with me. And I had a fourth-year law student who told me that he had never wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
I asked him why. He said his parents forced him into that. He had wanted to be a shoemaker. He told me he can make good shoes. And saw another one who is an accountant said he's a carpenter. He loves to do carpentry job. I have another one that said he can paint. Now, opportunities like this are being killed at homes. Now, when you kill the passion in a child or even a youth, you make that youth not to be very proud of what that youth could have been able to come out. Now, these guys told me, this is what they can do. But because they are being forced into something, they have to read, they have to pass. Because we believe that you have to have your degree before you become something. I don't believe so much in that. I quite agree that education is good. How many of us, we had once discussed, how many of us do what we studied in school? Now, in my home, one of the things I've tried to do is to see that you have something to do. My son, I asked him one day to go to his mom's shop. And when he came out, I told him to do application on what he has to do. He did an application. I kept it in the house till tomorrow. I said when he goes up, I'll show him. He wrote an application that he wants to be the door boy. The door boy. He said when he got to his mom's shop, there was nobody to open the door for him. Because like in other shops where he had gone, they opened the door and people go in. And he didn't open the door for him. So he wants to do that.
A professional doorman.
So that when people come, they will open the door for them to come in. I loved it because it showed that he saw an opportunity in a place and wanted to fill the gap.
Yes.
Most times we don't have time to talk with our children. Most parents are too busy. They blame the government for no employment. They blame the government when their children turn criminals. They blame the government for everything that has happened. What role have we done in our homes to be able to make these children be what they want to be? Because, for as long as we have this kind of population in Nigeria, I still believe tomorrow that we have enough job for people. We have enough. We have enough. But people are not willing to get into this employment thing. Yeah. People want to drive car. Mr. Chukuma is driving car. I want to drive car. I read a book by Bishop T.D. Jakes. One person walked up to him and said, Bishop, I want to be like you. I want to be like you. Bishop said, that's a very dangerous wish. He said, no, Bishop, you're this. He said, it's a very dangerous wish. Don't wish to be like me. Bishop said, would you be able to pass through all the hell I passed through? You've seen a finished product. Have you gone through the processes I've gone through?
Yeah.
I gave you just example of the YESO program we are running in collaboration with World Bank. Honestly, even in terms, World Bank, the way they do their things, even in terms of the questionnaire, you see a lot of, in fact, we have to tell them that, look, this is Africa and this is Nigeria. To some extent, people are not that patient enough, even if you are giving them refreshment.
Of course, we are not
to sit with them to fill all these questionnaires.
Yeah.
You have to scale down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, at the end of the day, we may end up not getting anybody. So yes, they listen, Prof. Florencio listening to our complaints, and to some extent, they have scaled some things down. And as I'm talking to you yesterday, we had a meeting with them, and with the stand we have taken, I believe a lot of people will be involved because we are the one losing. This thing is supposed to be in all the 36 states, 37 including FCT. But I'm talking to you something that have been started since 2012. Only 8 states are involved. And I don't know, because mainly they are just being involved as partners, because most of the money, even for the trainers and the trainees, are coming from the World Bank itself. The last one they did, they involved a lot of consultants. But this time I said, look, why do we need consultants? They have a standard. For these young men and women to be trained, there must be a boarding facility. There must be a very nice clinic. And this is something that we can get in most of our tertiary institutions.
Yes.
And that's the reason why we're involving them now. They are the ones doing the training. They are the ones accommodating them. They are the ones feeding them. And to some extent, the level of participation is more. But still, there are some, after they were mocked out, when they come, they say, look, I'm not interested in going through this. Just give me the money.
Most people get into it because of money.
Yeah, that's it.
Most people
so,
get into it.
But I believe maybe with time, people begin to understand what is happening. I remember the last time I attended a meeting with the statistician of the Federation. He made mention that there are about 30 million small-scale enterprises in Nigeria. So if each one of them can create just one job, issue of unemployment is solved in this country. But as I said, there are people that are available to work, and there are people that are not ready to work.
Yes.
By the time you call a graduate and tell him that, look, come and do this thing, that pride is there. As a graduate, you are expecting me to do this. In Sokoto, there was one lady where we used to play fives. A copper, I think she's from either Delta State also. She used to bring granules to us. We buy. And I asked her, I said, look, I think if you can improve in this, I believe you can make money. My colleagues were saying, no, her groundnut is different. She only added extra things, maybe small salt and whatever it is. The last time I went to Sokoto, she has started packaging it, not just even in the bottle. And I told her, when are you traveling? She said, travel to where? If I go, who's going to take care of my business? I'm making money on daily basis. People are calling me to bring it to them in the office and whatever it is. So the issue is this. Despite the fact that some of them are given training, entrepreneurial skills training on various trades, even at the NYC camp, some of them are serious and some are making money out of it. But you know, some of them, the pride is there. You felt you have a degree, is downgrading on you, somebody to, you know, that kind of thing.
You see, where I started with the fact that we go to the university to go learn how to prepare CVs. A lot of them will give you their CV. I just spoke with one person recently, and the person said, the person is not working. I said, where will you want to work? He said, any job that pays me anything like 200K. I just fainted now because first performance, like, where would you have a job that will pay 200K without somebody without experience?
Yeah.
Is there any job that gives me like 200K I can manage? Okay. So if I have a job of 50K, you look for other people that will be willing.
I still insist, you know, Kineke is about to shut us up. I still insist, whatever is what, we should all learn to do apprenticeship. It's important.
It's beautiful.
For everything you want to do, from primary school, parents, release your children to go and do apprenticeship.
Which is what I was going to say. I was going to ask the DG, as a mentor yourself, we have a lot of youth that watch Conversations. If you could tell them something that will encourage them, because some of them are home watching and saying, you know, I've tried everything, or I'm discouraged, you know, I did this course even though my heart really wasn't in there. As a mentor yourself, sir, if you could just tell them something that will encourage them before we close.
No, it's simple. The white-collar job virtually is not there. So people that are on their own, people that are managing their own businesses, they are making more money. We are with them. We can see it. In fact, right now, we have a program called 50 Under 35. We're trying to create 50 young entrepreneurs that are less than 35 years in all the 109 senatorial zones. And we are going to give them good loan so that they can add up to their businesses and at the same time, with time, become employees of labor.
You know, Nike, there's this guy I know. He washes car for people within my environment. This guy collects, if he washes inside and outside, he collects 1,000. If he washes just outside, 500. And he washes as much as 10 cars a day. That's like 10,000 naira.
Yeah.
I don't bloody earn that much a day. I don't earn it.
So all you need really is the drive and the passion.
And then we'll look at him and say he's a car washer.
Yeah.
You know?
And remove pride.
Yeah.
Pride has deprived a lot of people a lot of things. And I had, you know, I always, because I had this guy, he sews clothes very well. Then when he lost his job at the bank, I told him, okay, guy, you know I've been this route. Instead of coming to me to ask for money or to ask for work, you know how to make this clothes. Let's rent a flat in Owerri. Let me equip it with all that we need. Let me be the chief marketing officer. Everything you're going to sew, I'll wear. So let me begin to do the drive because I still have my link. The guy said, oh, I got to leave this thing for now. If anywhere you can find me work,
Yeah.
I was like, looking at this guy. You have a talent. All you need to do is bring in those your marketing skill. in the bank into your business. You saw very well. Why don't you? So that just leave it. And
That's it. Yeah.
No, sir, if somebody wants to register in your program as a youth, you know, how would they, you know, get connected or linked up?
Go to any of our offices in the states or even our desk office in the local government.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I think our final words is that no matter what, there's dignity in labor. You know, just do good work. You know, don't follow the people that do the bad work, and do good work. And I'm sure, you know, much good will come out of it. We've come to the end of conversations here on NTA. Thank you so much to you, sir, for joining us and giving us a lot of insight on employment in Nigeria. We'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Our social media handles are available on this screen. So on behalf of our DG, Lizzie, Shukuma, and myself, goodbye, and see you again soon.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Can we have the winning booklet, please?